started. Welcome to our weekly open mic. We do this call because MSPs asked. You wanted to hear what was new at the platform, what bugs we fixed. Any folks wanted to do a little R&D or rob and duplicate automation ideas from your peers. Just a couple reminders, ask questions. We give you the COOP, which is a public Discord channel to ask your questions. You can ask them in front of all of our customers. They all have access to the COOP. If it's something that's sensitive or you don't want to ask it in the COOP, feel free to throw it in your private channel that is monitored by our support team. One of the determining factors of whether or not someone will succeed with automation, in my mind, has always been, do they ask questions? With that, Ash is sick. George, take it away. Let's get this started.
Let's get this party started. Yeah, welcome everyone. I'll jump in with some quick-fire community updates before we move on to some other departments. First things first, our first webinar of the year is happening next week with OneStream, formerly known as BVoIP. If you're unfamiliar with them, we have a great webinar where we're going to be talking through not just our new pre-built with them, but also just a little bit about what OneStream are doing and how MSPs might benefit from some of the cool things there with just, forgive the pun, streamlining your help desk operations. So I'll drop the registration link in there for the chat. You'll also see, if it's not in there already, our Flow sign up. So again, we've got Flow coming up this year. We'll be starting the countdown very soon. Make sure to join us in Nashville. We'd love to see you all there live. Over Christmas as well, over the festive season, we launched a little snowball game. Thank you for all of those who participated genuinely, legally in the game. And thanks for everyone who borked the scoreboard and hacked it. Glad you guys had fun on that side of things too. So today we're going to reveal the winner, legal, authentic winner, because there was definitely some shenanigans at the top of the leaderboard. But maybe comes to no surprise with the number of attempts, our winner is Peyton, who got the top legal score from that snowball game. So congratulations to Peyton. I'm not sure what the total legal number of genuine entries you made were, but yeah, all your hard work and endeavor paid off. So there's an anecdote for you. So Peyton, I will ping you on Discord and we will send you through a bunch of Roost swag. So congratulations and well done.
I want to know who was the non-legal winner.
Oh, there was more than one, Amanda, more than one. Lots of people. So yeah, we've got some ideas for some fun next year. If understanding that the Roost community likes to tinker and break things, we can definitely gamify that for some festive activities next year as well. The other quick fire announcement is with Open Mic in 2026, we're going to be moving to a new meeting type. So we're just in the process of getting that rounded off, but just be aware in the coming weeks that there'll be a new sign up or a new link we'll be pushing out. We'll be doing plenty of promotion and awareness around it so no one misses this, but just be aware that that will be coming to a screen near you and making sure that nobody's left behind on what will be an older call. So yeah, looking forward to that. Moving on, we have our first product update of the year. I'm going to kick it over to everyone's favorite Canadian, Mr. Danial.
Thank you. Let's get started. We have done a ton of releases. So for those who didn't know, we queued up our releases over the holiday period. So we didn't have, because we had reduced staffing, as most places do during the holiday time. And so we have a ton of new features and bug fixes that have come out over the last week, and that will also bleed into next week. We have, I think, 5 releases queued for Monday, and we've been doing multiple releases every single day. And so This week, we have a few things to talk about. We added a generic API request for the Huntress integration. So really quickly, just pop over here. Generally, most of our integrations have a generic API request that lets you make a few, I guess it lets you really kind of customize how you get information back. It also lets you ping, or I guess, gives you access to endpoints that we may not have built an action for. Generally, when we build our actions out for a given integration, we try to figure out, okay, what are the actions that our MSPs are most likely to use? And then just for organizational purposes, we try to reduce the number. Not if an endpoint has thousands of endpoints, we don't want to have thousands of actions in here necessarily. So we added the Huntress general API request. Another thing that we did is we added org mappings for the Cloudmore integration. We added support for a new data Autotask region. That's Australia 3. So you can see here in the dropdown, you can just click Australia 3 and use this region on top of the 2 other Australian regions. And they have a ton of different regions available for data PSA. We improved the ConnectWise PSA. We improved one action in the ConnectWise PSA integration, and then we made a change to the SQL database integration. There were some, you may have noticed that there were some problems on migration of this functionality. So what we were trying to do is add multi-tenant support for the SQL database integration. And so we are currently still working on, we've fixed some of the main problems that arose from implementing this functionality. There's still stuff that we're working on, so we still have developers working on the SQL database integration, but expect to see some more information coming up on this in the coming days and weeks on that one. We had a ton of bug fixes, like I mentioned, go out for integrations, for RoboRewsties, for triggers. And the big thing that we want to talk about that's coming next week is the ConnectWise ASIO integration. So we will have a short demo for you next week to just show the functionality that's available. They recently came out with some new endpoints relating to running scripts through the integration. And so we wanted to delay this. We were going to release this last month, but we were waiting for ASIO to come out with some more of their endpoints. It's like their V2 script endpoints, I think, or something like that. And so that will be coming next Thursday, and we'll demo it to you next Friday. But yeah, that's about it for us. Hope you all had a great New Year.
Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, really looking forward to the launch of that next week, and then the live demo on Friday with a very special guest doing the demo. So, ooh, mystery. Who could it be? Make sure you swing by next week to see. All right, next up, everyone's favorite Canadian, Jesse, with a marketplace update.
Hello, everybody. Strong start. I was on mute. Yeah, favorite with a U. Daniel's favorite without the U. The Americans like him, but up here we kind of, we're working on the exile paperwork. Should be through any day now. On the marketplace side, there are no new crates or enhancements this week. The past month or so, we've been kind of chipping away at some backlog stuff, looking at things that we'd kind of put to the side for a little bit for one reason or another, and kind of working through some of those items. So working on a lot of bug fixes and chores while it was a little quieter, and while we wanted to try to avoid releasing anything too big while people were on vacation. I won't go through every bug fix that we have here, but I will touch on some of the highlights that I think people will be interested in. So if you use Ninja One for ticketing, that's, I think, newer functionality that they have added. We have added that to all of our default ticketing sub workflows, so that should start to permeate and appear in all of a number of the default crates. So user onboarding would be in there, user offboarding, a bunch of the others as well. So please go try that out if you use Ninja for ticketing, and we'd love to hear feedback as to whether there's anything that we missed. I think we got pretty much all of it, but would love some feedback there. In similar fashion, if you use SuperOps, a bunch of changes went out for some places where when we initially went across and tried to add SuperOps to a bunch of different things, we missed a couple spots, so we shored that up over the break as well. If you feel there are still things that are missing, then please let us know, but there's a lot of changes added there as well. For specific crates, some things that I'll call out is the user onboarding crate obviously had a lot of small adjustments made to it over the break and then over the past week as well as we released things. So take a look there if you're using that crate and there were things that you were waiting on from the marketplace team. And then similarly, not as many updates, but the configure organization variables, if you're in onboarding right now and you were waiting for certain things, or you need to update some organization variables, there's a handful of things noted here as well. I think that's the majority of the highlights from the bugs and fixes. In terms of coming soon, some of the usual suspects from December of last year, we're still working on the traveling employee CA policy crate and the GDAP crate improvements as well. Those should be released within the next few weeks here. Drop suite stuff, we're hoping to have that out soon as well. And then the enhanced logging in the user onboarding workflow is in review, so that should be coming out very soon. Stuff that's not noted here is Daniel did mention that we'll be releasing CW ASIO. On the marketplace side, we would look to add RMM functionality to a lot of the crates. We'd be putting that in the default sub workflows that we use for all the RMM activities. If there are use cases outside of that, please let us know, but we will be adding that functionality in as soon as we can. We also released the CIPP integration in December of last year. We'll be working on some crates for that shortly. And we are doing planning for kind of our Q1 roadmap for the marketplace as well. So we'll have more news on that for everybody in the next few weeks here. And I think that concludes all the marketplace stuff.
Sweet, thank you, Jesse. Next up, we have education with Clea. Clea?
Hello, of course, I am ready and totally prepared to share, and not at all doing things at the very last minute, but Happy New Year, everyone. Just as a very quick heads up, we will be updating the training page for this week. This week is all about just celebrating the latest folks who got certified. So as usual, I'll hold my breath and try to get everyone through in one shot soon. But there will be a very, very brief, go ahead and share my screen while I'm at it, because why not? Work in progress is all about celebrating and sharing where we're at and not wondering about showing up perfectly. Side note, if anyone saw my under eye circles, my toddler is teething, and some of you might remember how that goes. So SkillJar, if you're like, what the heck is that? That is the platform behind Clea University. It's going to be offline very, very briefly for 3 hours on Saturday Pacific time. I know that in other regions of the world, that might be a time that some people are like, I want to learn all the Roost things. Well, go take a nap instead, or go enjoy a wonderful meal, or, you know, do anything else and then get back to Clea University. So nothing will break. It'll just be down for a few hours, and we will update our training page to let you know about that. Speaking of which, the training page is right here, and a link is incoming into the chat. And if my her pronunciation made anyone think of Nelly, that was very much intentional. Not Chingy. Maybe Chingy was inspired by Nelly. To me, Nelly is the OG. I'm not going to sing Hot in Her because that will probably make Roost marketing and open mic folks very, very angry, but I'm open to it next time. All right. Shout outs. This includes a lot of folks because I believe our last open mic page was a special edition from December 2019 or so, Clea University Capped. If you haven't yet taken a look at that page, go give it some love. It's a celebration of everything we accomplished last year. But since then, a lot of folks took Roost Foundations and Clean Automation and earned their certificates and earned entry into our not so top secret Discord channel, Bird Brains. So, Roost Foundations, here we go. Big shout out to Michael, Adam, Josh, Matt, Mitchell, Aaron, B, Aaron, M, Tim, Isaac, Lanny, Sean, Gaston, Sam, Thomas, Dennis, Precious, Brandon W, Evan, Brittany, Stephen, Brandon H, and Phil. Kudos. And for Clean Automation, we have Michael F, Thomas, John, Adele, Sashin, Joe, Dennis, Michael R, Evan, Adam, Sam, Sean, and Lanny. If you have yet to hear your name, go check out our certifications page and earn those certificates. We've got options for you to do it live, or you can watch some recordings that were recently added to these courses. We've got self-paced. You can do both if you want to earn extra credit in my book, and then go ahead and take the exam. And if you've been thinking, Clea, why do you and the Cluck University crew only offer these 2 certificates? Well, have I got news for you? We are hoping to rebrand and launch a total of 5 this year, maybe by the end of the first quarter. So lots of work in progress. And you can bet that I will be looking for some early customer testing of all the new stuff. So if anyone's interested, honestly, ping me on Discord, email CluckU, but later I will put out an official call for action. Andrew, great question. We do have stats on total certified users. I'll try to pull those numbers in the background and come back. But yeah, last year we surpassed 1,000. So kudos to everyone for learning Roost. Don't want to be cagey about only celebrating education training content. Do want to give some love to our documentation manager and team, the amazing Lisa and Gio. Working with Roost collaborators, we have updated guidance for HubSpot, Microsoft Graph, Scope, Sync, Lag Time. I don't know what that means, but it's documented. Go check it out. And our Ingram Micro integration, which I know has been a work in progress for some time, took a lot of effort to pull that together. As always, you can find us in Cluck University, in the CluckU Discord channel. Go chat with the fabulous Eddie during office hours, and there is more soon. No new courses just yet, but we are cooking up some stuff behind the scenes. Here's a little sneak peek at a course on demystifying billing reconciliation, where the amazing Eddie partnered with JP from the Marketplace team to use data that you get from the billing count report, I think that's the name, Crate, do some magic and update things. So are you overbilling customers? Are you underbilling? Find out with this custom workflow. It's really just a starting point because, as we learned, everyone builds differently. So pretty hard to standardize that. But we really hope that it is going to be useful for folks. We've still got to cook up some videos for all that stuff, but the build is done and we're moving forward there. And then finally, last thing, I know I took a little bit of extra time, but I did want to share that as our RoboRewsty features are evolving, I think only like 13 people registered for our RoboRewsty prompting course. I'm actually going to go back and retake it because depending on what you ask RoboRewsty, it can be hit or miss. We did our best to create a recipe in here, go use it, test it out, let us know how to improve it. And yeah, more content coming soon. Thanks for learning with us, and I'll go grab those certification stats. And yeah, thank you. Back to you, George.
Thanks, Clea. And remember, you can share those certs on LinkedIn as well. So I see lots of people posting and sharing that they're certified on LinkedIn. So congrats and kudos to you. And if you've done it, make sure, yeah, you can do a little bit of humble bragging on social media. Okay, we have a demo lined up with Emmett, which we're going to go to in just a moment, and then we may have some time afterwards for another demo. So if you've got something and you're a little shy and timid, or maybe want to do something on the fly, have a think about it. Let us know in the chat if you're interested. But before we go into partner demos, we're going to do open mic hot seat again, like we did last week. And this week, I've actually got a bit of a special guest in. Amanda is going to go in the hot seat because Amanda's got a kind of unique point of view as someone who's both on the MSP side of the fence as an owner operator, but now has also come over to the dark side on the vendor side. So, Amanda, we've got just a couple of quick fire questions. It's just opinion based, no right or wrong answer, but curious to, yeah, get your thoughts on a few bits and pieces. Are you ready?
Always.
Awesome. Okay. So what's an assumption that you had as an MSP owner that you later realized was wrong once you became a vendor?
Okay, so I promised, like George did no prompting. But one thing that I assumed was that vendors would be doing more automation, and they are not. There's way more things that are so manual that it's actually really surprising.
Yeah, yeah. We were talking that we've been chatting about that a little bit. Anyway, so we'll stay focused. What do vendors consistently underestimate about the day-to-day reality inside an MSP?
Um, so I feel like it's how MSPs make money, right? Like exactly where their product fits in the stack in terms of whether it's something that's core to making them efficient or whether it's something they're actually reselling to customers. I think that a lot of times you hear like the sales pitch is really surrounded like we'll make you money, but the reality is that there's a lot of vendors that MSPs will engage with that they never tell their clients about. The clients have no like understanding of what that product is. It's the MSP that is entirely owning that decision and telling their clients what's best for them. So, the client portion of that side of things is not the way that vendors see it, I think.
Mm-hmm. What's one thing that made you instantly trust a vendor when you were an MSP?
Quite honestly, how much I felt like I knew them right away. I think a lot of MSPs make trust-based decisions. They don't want a sales pitch or, just what's what I'm looking for. Like marketing materials. Don't shoot me marketing because I'm actually technically in marketing, but they want value. They want to understand how this is going to help them, how they're going to be able to work better. And if you just come at them with a lot of jargon, that's not really helpful. They just want you to be able to cut to the usability of a product.
What's something MSPs automate too early and something they automate too late?
This is controversial. When we first
We
started,
love it. That's what we're here for.
When we first started with Roost, we were told to automate the new user onboarding first. It was way too big for us, and I think it delayed our entire process for a while. I think taking something smaller would have been much better, and we would have seen wins a little bit quicker. And I think that you guys have adapted your approach to that. We were pretty early customers, but I think that would be the thing. And what was the second part of the question? Just so I make sure I answer both parts.
So the first part was like something you automate too early. What's something MSPs automate too late?
I think their own internal processes, right? Like their own user onboarding, their own whatever. Like whenever you start with it, you usually always start with clients, but you should really be starting at how do you make yourself more efficient and your own internal space better.
What kind of MSP feedback is most valuable to vendors, but the hardest to get honestly?
Probably about the sales process, but I don't know. It's hard to say. Some MSPs have no problem saying it. It's also like the number one question that I keep hearing is like I'll get the salespeople for where I work reach out to me and go, how best can I talk to this MSP because everything I've tried doesn't work. And I'm like, yeah, it's the seventh son needs to be in the fifth house, and like the owner is dealing with 80 different things, and you're lucky if you get through to the right person at the right time. It's all based on when you're needed. Like I think in a traditional sales cycle it's a little bit more predictable, but with MSPs, because their lives are not predictable, that you can't predict that.
All right, last three quick fire questions here for you, Amanda. When is it smarter for an MSP to build internally instead of waiting on a vendor roadmap?
Have you done the ROI on what it delivers you?
Okay.
You have to know those numbers.
ROI.
You have to be
You
able
got
to
any
understand
numbers?
what the impact is, right? If you don't know what the impact is, then you're just guessing. So I would say you need to make sure that you're tracking the right numbers to be able to understand that.
Got it. What signals that this is interesting because I know you've done like peer groups and stuff as well. So seeing a lot of different types of MSPs in terms of size, seniority, experience. What's a signal that tells you an MSP is ready for advanced automation versus when they're not?
What level of documentation do they have, and do they have their processes not only down but used? Because you can create whatever process you want to, but if people don't adopt it, then it's just performance theater. So you need to have a place that runs on the documentation that you have and that people follow and adapt.
I'm nodding, Joel's nodding. I know, love it. Big fans of documentation. Do they have a dedicated documentation monitor? Right, Chris? We were talking about that at the start of the call.
Well, then by
all right,
then I'm
last
really super
question.
immature. That's not fair, George.
What's one piece of advice you'd give MSP owners that vendors might be a bit reluctant to say publicly as an MSP and with your MSP hat on, but knowing that you got the inside scoop on some vendor stuff?
I think we probably make the whole process a lot harder than it needs to be. I think we could be better communicative of where we're at and what we need and learning to say no, right? Because I look at the sales process and there's sometimes where I can reflect on my own behavior in the past and tell myself how busy I was. But then I also could have just turned around and said, you know what? I don't have time right now. Call me in Q4. And instead of that person having to reach out to me multiple times, then it would have like less effort on the vendor side. And the less that they have to spend on that kind of stuff, then they're more focused on the product, in my opinion. You don't want to waste money on the other side. And then we're all businesses, right? So that respect needs to be there on both sides.
Yeah, I agree. You can say no respectfully. Totally. Well, man, thanks for jumping in the hot seat. I've got some more quick fire questions. If there's anybody else on the call line today that wants to be brave and jump in for some quick opinion questions, any takers? Joel did it last week. We had Calvin. Anyone else want to raise a hand? No being super shy.
Chris said it best, though. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, Chris said it in the chat, just for anyone who's watching the recording of this. A lot of the benefit from automation comes from actually defining and documenting departmental processes, not solely from the automation itself.
It forces you to.
Alrighty. Okay, no takers on our hot seat? No?
I mean, you want to ask me more questions, go right ahead, George. Or move on to showing people actual useful stuff like I said we should do.
Yeah. All right, with that then, we will move over into our partner demos, and we have Emmett on the line here today. Emmett, good to see you again. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, George. We've been partners with CIPP for a while, and at least close to the beginning of last year, I want to say. And a lot of our technicians really liked the product, but noticed that they were having some just some small issues that kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So something that has helped our technicians out since the advent of the SIP integration was a tap pod. And I'm gonna share my screen real quick. And it's just a simple form. When the form loads up, it's got two questions, one that they don't see, that's for the ticket number, and then one that's based off of an options generator that pulls pulls all of the users for that tenant. It gets the service ticket and it runs it against the organization, and then it lists the users based on that org ID in Roost. And so we'll just do it live because we've been using it since it's been up and it's been working. So that's a plus. So we'll refresh that. It does take the time that it saves on the just using the pod as opposed to going to SIP. I'd put it at like a 10-minute time saving because sometimes the issues that our technicians have don't always happen. So, but we'll click this drop down. We got a couple of people to choose from. We'll do Barry Allen. Anyone that knows me knows I'm a big nerd. So I've been going through the Flash show recently. So that's why all my techs are, all my end users are from Star Labs. And then you just hit submit and you wait, and it pops up right here in this fun little HTML. They can copy the user, click to copy the user, click to copy the tap, and then there's a link right here that they can right click it, and it takes them to you can open it up in an incognito tab, or it goes to portal.office.com, so that way they can log in and do whatever they need to do for that user. Very simple, nothing too crazy, but our technicians have loved it. because it is a major time saver, especially when they're in the middle of something and the user in the middle of a laptop setup and the user walked away and they don't have the password the user just set. So they can use this and it just makes it, and then they can do what they need to do.
Awesome. Emmett, one of the things like we hear sometimes from various partners at different stages is like building automations is great. Then sometimes getting a broader team at your MSP to one, adopt them, use them, two, get excited and think about their own things can be challenging. It seems like you guys over at Leap have got things snowballing well there. Do you have any tips or tricks to share around how you can create more engagement and excitement with other team members, and how you've accelerated building automations based off requests from other people on your team?
Yeah, one of the biggest things that that we've tried to make an emphasis on is to get things in front of our help desk technicians that will help them more, whether it's one or two people or 3 to 4 people. Most of us all work out of the office. There are some that have remote users. So when we get more people in the office and I'm showing them what I'm working on and how it affects and how it helps, that is it kind of spreads like wildfire. And then once a couple of people we have a meeting every Tuesday at 10, and I'm in that meeting and I'm showing them what I'm working on, and it's like, oh yeah, this will actually help us save some time. We started with more reporting automations than help desk automations, and like Amanda said, the onboarding crate was one of the first ones that we did, and some of our techs weren't a huge fan of it because of fill in the blank reason. So we wanted to switch to stuff that is more help desk facing, so that way it would help them more.
Cool. And at the start for like more of the reporting, was that more aimed at like leadership, or what was the reason for focusing more on reporting?
Yeah, there was some things like we have a loaner process for our end users that their computer needs to be warranted. We wanted to see how the loaners, or wanted to see how many loaners we had out in the field. So we made up a process and automated it so that way it reports how many loaners we have out in the field to our field service manager. It's stuff like that. The time savings reporting crate that helped, and that was for leadership, but a lot of it was like down servers was one of the very first ones that we did. So that way when we came in the morning, we weren't blindsided by our clients saying, hey, our server's been down the whole night, like what's going on? And it tells us if the server is in maintenance mode. We use Ninja, so the Ninja API tells us if it's in maintenance mode, and it adds that to the email. Just stuff like that, stuff that was helping people on a higher level, but it wasn't where our technicians were at. Sometimes our technicians saw it, sometimes our technicians didn't. So it just to build more of the a buy-in was to get stuff. One of my goals for last year was to get 10 automations that directly affected the help desk, and I believe I hit that goal. So that was that helps in the process of buying into automation.
Nice. That's a good segue, Emmett. You raise a good point. Does anyone here has anyone else set specific automation goals for 2026? Whether you're a business owner, or a leader, or an automation engineer, anyone got anything specific they feel like they want to share? Whether it's building, time saving,
replacing help desk.
Replacing help desk?
Yes, replace help desk, so they can do other things.
Gotcha. Oh, so just like clearing way more tickets and letting them focus more on human connection and building
Yeah, a lot of
rapport with your
stuff
clients?
that a lot of stuff. I'm trying to focus a lot on moving towards letting the end users service a lot of things themselves through our own platforms, so that we don't have tickets for it. For instance, I built an application that allows it's one of our clients with almost 1,000 users to completely manage their own environment from user setup to retirement, all without us having to have any involvement now. But it's all through our platform. So it saved over 700 tickets last year alone that our help desk team didn't have to work on. So
What does that process look like, Dave? But that actually came up last week around, it was a question that came up in Discord. Someone was specifically asking around self-service and Roost forms, and the specific question was, at the beginning for new partners, are you using Roost forms and then setting them up and just using them internally to kind of get the ball rolling? Or are you immediately pushing them out to clients so clients can begin to self-serve? And if you're doing the latter, which obviously you guys are, how are you training and equipping your clients to be successful in that? How are you creating that behavior change?
a lot of it we haven't yet been able to utilize Roost forms or App Builder due to limitations, but we have, myself personally, has the ability to code and develop web interfaces and things that integrate with Roost webhooks and stuff like that. So we still have Roost doing the heavy lifting and a lot of the workflows, but we create our own UI and stuff for them to use. And we find that providing the tools for the users, they seem way more inclined to take care of it themselves due to how much faster they can get it done. And once they see how much easier it is for them to self-serve, they're more inclined to want to do that.
But did you just send an email saying like, hey, this stuff's available for you to use? Did you book a training session, either live or virtual?
We the users that were designated to be able to have access to those features, for instance, not all users at an entire company could do that, like the POCs or the important people that would like to manage their subordinates, or the supervisors would have access to it. Those we spent some time talking to them, showing them the platform and how to use it and things like that. Yeah, hands-on training.
Anybody else got any good goals for 2026? Replacing help desk is a pretty big one. Emmett, I loved yours for like kind of getting like, what was it, 10 automations up and running. Anyone else got anything specific? Anyone need any help setting some goals? All right. Any other takers for a live demo? Anyone got anything interesting they want to share at all? The other thing, I'm just going to drop a link in the chat here, a reminder of our community creations workflow. So if you're someone who's maybe a little bit shy, feel free to grab some private time with me and we can do a quick snap video of something you want to show. And again, specifically for this series around community creations, it's something we post every Wednesday. And it's really aimed at actually new users, just new people that might be coming in and get a bit of choice paralysis around what they can do. I'm just laughing at Linda. Around what they can do. So don't overthink it. It doesn't need to be a massive, crazy, sophisticated workflow. Actually, sub workflows are super popular, ones that you might have built or seen that you can reuse again and again across different automations. So for anyone who grabs some time with me, yeah, there's definitely some swag in it for you. So feel free to grab a time later in the month or later in the year in my calendar that works for you. Seeing as no one's being forthcoming in a demo and Linda's being cheeky, Linda, I'm going to follow up on your request and volunteer someone to go back in the hot seat, and that person's going to be you. You are also interesting to chat to because as someone with prior experience at an MSP and now working full-time at Roost, very interested to get your opinions on these hot seat questions.
Go for it.
Here we go, locked and loaded. All right, what part of automation do people overthink the most?
I think trying to get everything perfect. Your automations don't have to be perfect right out the gate. If you are automating some of the pieces, then you're making progress. It's better than having people manually do everything.
What's the easiest automation win most teams overlook?
I think the easiest is a either a form or a button on a ticket that you can have right there for your text to say, hey, look into automating this, like this ticket from an end user. Nice and simple, just getting them to submit ideas to whoever's doing the building.
Like it. What usually breaks first, logic, data, or expectations?
Depends on the builder. If I'm the builder, it's always the logic. The expectations, those are the operations person's expectations, are never in line with what the builder is building. And what was your third?
Data.
Data. Data, that one's always hit or miss. Usually it's a miss because I logically grabbed the wrong field from the API. So yeah. You just keep iterating at it until you get it. So.
And at first you don't succeed.
That's right.
What's harder, building automations or getting people to use them?
Oh, getting people to use them for sure. At my old MSP, we started to gamify it a little bit, where we built a completion handler for any form submitted workflows that will track who's submitting the forms. And you can do something fun, right? Like give them gift cards for, lunch places around the office or Amazon or whatever, just for whoever had the most automations run that month.
Oh, I like that. That's a great idea.
Without cheating. You don't need to submit the same new user or reset password 27 times just so you win the, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like our snowball game.
That's a really good idea. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. What makes an automation feel fragile even when it works?
I think if it's not based off of a solid process, right? So if you're you don't have all of that process documented before you start, and then you kind of develop it along the way. And I won't say I've never done one of those before, but I shouldn't, and neither should all of you. So because then you get to the end and you're like, did I account for all the edge cases? And most likely the answer is no, you did not, because you didn't do enough testing or thought into the process beforehand.
Yeah, common themes here we're seeing today, as always. Documentation is important. Aaron's law, we always circle back to, can't automate a process that doesn't exist. There's Emmett's commented, no error handling. Yeah, it's a good one too. What's the most common signal an automation should be rewritten?
I don't know. That one's a hard one, George. You got me. I think you should have some kind of a process for revisiting your workflows, just kind of a maintenance thing, whether it's like every 6 months or once a year, just kind of look back at them and make sure people are actually using them. And if it's like something that a tech has to trigger or a client has to trigger and they're not using it, you put all this time into building it, figure out why. If it's something that they're not using it and it's a simple tweak you can make to it to get them to start using that, then that's great and it's worth the effort.
Now, this is a good one for you, because I know you work with a lot of our new partners, helping ramp them up. What do beginners focus on that experienced automators ignore?
Everybody still, I think, to Amanda's point, wants to jump right into that onboarding crate and hand it right to their end users. And that's great if the person that's filling out the form at your client is technical. Offboarding, much easier place to start because that has less technical questions on it. And yeah, some of our partners will come in and they have API experience, which is great. But I mean, realistically, where they should start is just unpack the crates and start, when I was a kid, one of my cousins used to have all of our new toys and take them completely apart. And so finally, my mother started telling us, don't bring your new toys over to Michael's house because he's going to send you home with Superman's head on Batman's body. And, it's not going to be good. But for us, so what? You break a crate, you can unpack it again and resync it. So.
Yeah, we see that too, right, as well, where people kind of come in and again, to your process point, oh, we can automate stuff now. Wouldn't it be nice if, and kind of get lost in that what if instead of here's our most documented, detailed process. Let's put that through Roost and associated integrations and crates and actually automate it and get some instant value. What's the biggest time sink in maintaining automations that people could be better with?
I think that people miss the boat where they could just very easily use RoboRewsty to document their workflows, and be able to really see what it does later when you're coming back. I mean, worst case, you can always come back and run the RoboRewsty, but what I always advise all new partners to do is change the names on those no-ops. You'd be surprised at how many people just add a no-op and never change it. And I try and advise them to change it to a verb and a noun. What is it that you're looking to do? Determine this, check that, so that it makes for the readability of the workflow to be a lot easier when you look at it after not looking at it for a year.
Do thing from Noah in the chat there.
Yes.
What's the first thing you check when an automation fails?
The execution results. I look for that lovely red task. And since I am completely terrible at error handling, mine always have a red task. Whereas some of our ones that, we unpack with crates that are very well, like with the edge cases, everything says it succeeds, but the user didn't create. Why didn't that happen? You got to dig into some of the things there. So.
But it's great trick question there, because Roost will tell you. We can go digging and it'll actually tell you exactly.
Yeah, but you have to dig.
Happened.
I don't want to dig. I'm lazy. I just want the red, like, hey, this is where it failed,
And RoboRewsty can help with that kind of stuff too.
He can.
Okay, last couple of questions here, Linda. You've been great. What's the most underrated skill for an automation engineer?
Understanding how your MSP works top to bottom. I always kind of say I was a little bit of a unicorn where I am technical, but I also worked in operations at my MSP. So I could look at something that we were building and kind of see, oh, that's going to throw a million tickets on our service desk. You might want to add in more conditions. And so as the builder at your MSP, the more you learn about that MSP's process, the better automations you will build, because you won't throw those, turn this thing on and then bam, a zillion tickets or a zillion emails or whatever.
Yeah, 100%. And last question, whether it was from your time at your MSP or something you've built, or maybe something you've seen with some other partners, what's a small automation or sub workflow that you've seen that's made an outsized difference?
Well, this won't apply again until baseball season starts up again. But when I joined Roost, and like part of the onboarding was to like make my own automation with all these like constraints, I built myself something that will text me the Yankee schedule for the day. And sorry to all you Boston fans, sorry, not sorry. But it texts me the Yankee game schedule every day. And if there is no game that day, it tells me that there is nothing in life to look forward to today. Just hold on until tomorrow, when there will hopefully be another game. So
there you go. I didn't know that, Linda. I didn't know you're a big Yankees fan. So
yeah,
any other Yankees fans who are big into baseball, maybe you can hit Linda up on Discord and get that fun automation. All right. Thanks so much, Linda. Appreciate you being voluntold for a hot seat. Last 10 minutes, Clea, are you feeling brave? Do you want to show us the wrapper you were chatting about?
I do. If I do anything differently in 2026, it's going to be show things before they're perfect and do things that scare me, including presenting unfinished work. I will go ahead and share my screen. And hope it's the right screen. And I did just try to document it with RoboRewsty. And yeah, it didn't do too bad. Honestly, I like my manual stuff better, so I replaced whatever I put here with, I'm just using RoboRewsty. So what is going on here? Let's close this. This is amazing. And I think I could have, again, handed it over to Eddie or Linda and been like, this sounds really cool. Make a course for us, ship it live next week. But sometimes there's value in a less technical person like me slowing down and learning how something works properly. And I'm like 90% of the way there and really proud of myself because I feel like once you understand the purpose and benefits of a workflow wrapper. Side note, I did use ChatGPT to create a wrap about workflow wrappers to be featured at an upcoming open mic, not today. But like, we're doing it for one purpose here, and it unlocks so much potential for other use cases. So Linda, as many of you know, is an automation strategist, meets with new customers, new Roost partners, to go through some common things, including platform setup, integration, all the things. And this probably will not be new news to people, but one of the most common crates that folks want to get started with to get quick business value is new user onboarding, right? Like, let me know in the chat or raise your virtual hand in Teams if you were interested in using that crate to get going. User onboarding workflows. Awesome. I see at least a few hands. Zooming out, there is a lot going on here, and I never touched this thing because I'm way too intimidated. There's too much going on. It looks like a beautiful butterfly or chicken wing. I just close it and pretend it doesn't exist. But that brings me to the story and of what we're accomplishing with this strategy. So what we're looking at is a workflow. We're calling it a wrapper because it has certain tasks that I've manually documented and then RoboRewsty documented and then renamed because Linda taught me to rename no-ops that wrap around that first parent level workflow of the new user onboarding crate, right? And why are we doing this? Well, you can do it for various reasons, but one use case is instead of having your technicians onboard a new client, why not empower your end user? So pretend that I am Clea. I'm an office manager at Top Dog. I can go ahead and fill out this simple form based on the crate form that asks me a name, primary email, username, some different stuff, et cetera, et cetera. If you were to give me this thing on the right, the default crate form, I'd be like, what the heck is an existing ticket number? What is Entra? What do you mean? What is happening here, right? So you can customize the form. I'm going to try to close that tab, show you what's going on behind the scenes in this one. And then you can have that be the trigger for your wrapper. So I won't go overboard on the details because this is going to make its way into a new course in Cluck University. But essentially what we're doing, and Linda, chime in because I might still get it wrong, we are simplifying what the crate needs to run, and we're translating some of the technical components into stuff that a non-technical person like me can understand. So right off the bat, we're just hiding existing ticket field. It still exists, but we don't necessarily need it. We're hiding middle name. That's easy enough. Find it, tick the box, hidden. And then we're getting a little bit more complex over time. So for example, copy user attributes. This would be great if I wanted a technician to use my customized form, but it's not going to make sense for Clea, the office manager. So what are we doing here? Linda taught me that you can use this org attributes Jinja code. Bonus points for me to learn more Jinja because I think there's a lot of power here. So that whoever is looking at the form, they get kind of their own custom version of this custom form. So it's like a wrapper around a wrapper around a wrapper with a bunch of fancy things going on. Just to prove that, if I were to preview this form as Top Dog, we no longer see that user to copy field. And we don't see anything about Entra or license groups or whatever. So we're customizing some fields, and then we are adding two, one called department, one called user type. That's going to take some information that's easy to understand and translate it into technical crate requirements. So if I'm onboarding a new person for the education department, maybe there's certain Entra, ID, security, and mail-enabled groups, I can do that translation behind the scenes in my workflow wrapper. Again, there's a lot going on, and for me to make sense of it, I had to write down 3 pages of handwritten notes. So secret tip, one of the best ways to learn Roost is to just write down notes. And then for the course, start to try to maybe make pretty flowcharts. So what's going on here? This is the custom form. We have 2 fields that we customized. That's being input on my wrapper. And then we've got stuff happening in the wrapper itself. So we're checking the organization when that form is submitted. If it's top dog, we're starting to format the email as a data alias. That is going to be needed for input on the crate sub-workflow parameters. So lots going on, but ultimately, once you start going and you see that there's like a pattern behind all this and a repeatable process, it becomes much more achievable. So we're checking the organization, we're checking what license to generate based on that field about like what type of computer do they need, et cetera. And then depending on the department they select, that is going to map to our security groups. And again, it's not finished, whoopsies. But for the crate to run, we need to fill out certain parameters, and we're translating some of those things that we started to customize on our form. And in the workflow wrapper through data aliases into context variable parameters, something, right? So I'm still learning the technical language, but I'm starting to get it, and it's a beautiful thing. And huge thank you to Linda for showing me the way.
Huge thanks to you too, Clea. Thanks for jumping on that and getting outside your comfort zone, sharing that with us, and giving us a sneak peek of what's to come in that course you guys are working on. 3:59, guys. We are gonna call it there at the top of the hour. Thanks for everyone who joined live. We will be back next week. Recording and email will go out. Thanks, Emmett, for your demo, and thanks, Amanda and Linda, for sitting in the hot seat. As always, if you have anything you want to show on open mic next week or in the future, let me know, and feel free to use that link in the chat to book a recording for our community creations. But that's it for this week. Have a wonderful weekend. Keep it safe and drama free. I'll see you all next